All right. I think we're live. I'm going to kick everybody's microphone on there because I apparently have no idea what I'm doing with this new thing, even though we've practiced this once before. It just all went to hell in a handbasket today. I guess kind of like CrowdStrike was feeling a little bit this morning, probably just like that. Anyway, welcome to your Friday, guys. As you very well can see, we have switched platforms and maybe switching back. But we switched to Restream, and it's just user error. I'm a twit. I can't figure out how to apparently do it properly on Restream. And anyway, welcome to the show, guys. Tom, Liam, appreciate you guys hanging out through some of the chaos.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for having us again. It's fun.
We'll get there. We'll get there in the end.
Yeah. So it's funny. Some people were able to see us live in pre-show, which my staff's working on it right now. They have no idea how this was even happening, which is funny. I'm popping up the chat right now to do that. Let me bring in the side chat there so we can see everybody. So there we go. Yeah, because see, we can actually put live streaming chat on the screen now, and all sorts of fun stuff with Restream. So it makes it interesting for sure. But yeah, I guess Momo, who was on there, could see us in pre-show, even though I hadn't pushed the live button. So it's still a mystery as to what was going on. Excellent. So, hey, some of the things in the news this morning, I'm just going to have you guys hang out on the screen while we talk about it. Just because I can't figure out how to turn you guys off on the screen right now without looking like a complete twit. But CrowdStrike obviously had a pretty large outage this morning early. So it was probably, around 5 something our time. So what time was it for you guys? Like around 9-10 a.m. roughly?
Yeah, it was quite early on.
Yeah. Were you guys affected at all?
Luckily not. No, I think, what do we do? We went to a pub earlier and there was no way of paying for the beer, which is a problem. So you just write down that we will go back and pay them at some point. Yeah, thank you, CrowdStrike. Free beer. Yeah. And then lunch. We couldn't pay for lunch. We had to have cash, and no one carries cash. But apart from that, we got away quite lightly. So, yeah, I think the airlines over here, banks, obviously all got affected. Very strange for one incident to have such a massive impact. Quite scary. So.
Yeah, indeed. It's a little insane. That's for sure. So Megan says, so that's free beer, right?
Yeah. Tom's
honest.
We are. Yeah, ex-cop, better not pay my bill.
Right. Sorry, Tom, you said you're getting some feedback. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, there's a slight audio feedback. Don't know if everyone else is experiencing it. But
no, I don't hear it. Do you hear it, Liam, at all? Or does anyone in the audience hear it?
I'm half deaf, so it's not going to help me. I think someone's there a little bit, so yeah.
Yeah, if anyone in chat notices any feedback, please let us know. We're testing this new platform. I only bought it for a month, so it may be a short subscription to make sure everything works well on it. It might be just feedback from your speakers, Tom. I think Liam and I are both wearing earbuds in, so that could be it. The old system had a lot of noise cancellation built into it. So Megan says she hears it. Mo doesn't hear it. Okay. Well, anyway, there we have it. It's split right down the middle. Who knows?
What have you just done, Kevin? It seems like he's just fixed it. So
I didn't touch anything. I just sat here and looked like myself. So that's all it takes, I guess.
Magic.
I'm happy with that. I gotta laugh at a Liam on that one.
I'm easy to please.
Yeah, no, I haven't touched anything. I was literally like going, I have no idea what's happening, but that's it. I can't switch the chat back and off. Oh, Megan says it's better now. I have no idea why.
Maybe people are just drinking like we are. The more they drink, the more they just don't.
You won't notice. So why does it even matter at this point? Right? Oh wait, what's this?
Oh, good morning. Very early morning.
Oh, yeah.
Someone's trying to get into our stream here. So I'm wondering with that link, either I sent you, maybe that link got out wrong that I sent to you guys to join. Or I don't know, but people are actually in the green room trying to get in. I can see them trying to come in.
It's just like crowdsourcing. Just get them all in. We'll have a nice big conversation.
I know. Let's just, I can fit 10 people on stage. Just bring everyone in, and we can go that route. I don't know who this person is. It's Dandor TR. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to join via YouTube. I gotta remove you. There we go. It's gone. So this is a great, awesome first episode. I love it. We'll figure this stuff all out. Anyway, Tom, I have a question for you. How is it from someone in your country can be so tan?
Blow up.
Yeah.
This new, I found a feature. It's like a new filter you can put on your image. So yeah, it's going to make me slightly tanned. Although the weather here has been really, really good today. So this is our summer today.
So this is what happens to you guys in one day.
Yeah, because we're normally all pale and very white. We go outside and we just tan so quickly. So yeah, this is 30 minutes. Yeah, no need for a sunbed, no need for fake tan. Yeah, this is magic. Yeah.
I see Liam hasn't been outside yet today, so
he's a developer. They don't go outside. They live in basements.
Pretty much. That's true.
Oh, excellent indeed. So real quick, also, I had this whole nice little QR code to set up for people. I was just curious here in chat. I'm kind of watching chat as it goes to you. I'm going to pop it back up here. I do know how to do that. That's one button that I can. It's really hard to mess up here. Who is not a member of Cyber Social Hub? I'm curious in the chat. Now, I know there's about a 15-second delay, so we'll kind of hang out and watch the chat to see who's not. Because if you're not, I'm going to attempt to do this as well. Tom, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I'm going to change our views around here to see if I can make this a little different where it doesn't totally make you disappear. Nope, not that one. Not that one. This is Joy. Oh, no, that's going to get rid of both of you. Anyway, I'm just going to push it up here on the screen. Oh, there, it's not totally cutting you off. There you go. You're surfing right above it. So
yeah. You like? Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, and if you guys actually scan that, whether you're already a member or not, you can scan that, and I think a little thing across the top appears that every time it gets scanned. So you don't have to rejoin. You can just actually scan it, and it shows me who scans it. It's kind of a neat little platform, and we're going to have a little fun with that, I think, today. Trying to figure out all of these crazy things. I'll leave it up there for another few seconds or so. Hey, good morning, Puppet from Melbourne. All right, excellent. Who else is in here today? They're not used to having the chat kind of constantly scroll across the screen, and neither am I, because normally I have to watch it in a separate window. I don't know if it's going to be more distracting than it is helpful, because sometimes the audience goes on to their own conversation while we're having ours over here, which happens often. So yeah, there. See, someone scanned the QR code. It shows it right up there. Pretty nice stuff. All right, let me get rid of that thing, and then we'll go on to the next here. So let's talk a little bit about databases in CSAM investigations, as the topic says that we're going to talk about, and not mass failures in your video broadcast system. So I guess you guys were on the show just over a month ago, I think. And for those of you, those who don't know who you are, can you, Liam, can you introduce yourself first, and then we'll move on to Tom from there.
Yeah, of course. I'm Dr. Liam, the CEO and founder of Semantics 21. So digital forensics through and through. Had the pleasure of working with Staff Police in 2009. They never sort of let me go. And I've had the pleasure now of working with so many forces around the world. Created Semantics 21 in just after I finished my PhD in digital forensics and teaching digital forensics at Staff Uni, with the aim of bringing forces up to the 21st century and also bridging the semantic gap. That's what separates us from the robots, the way that we can think and do things without any prior training, etc. But for us, it was all about, I saw working with staff and that there was a real need for innovation to help wonderful investigators, heroes around the world to rescue more children faster and to cope with a complete barrage of media coming up. So we created Semantic 21 with the aim of allowing you to find more victims faster, and of course, at the same time, getting through caseloads, etc. So that's a little bit about us.
Excellent, excellent. And Tom, I'll let you introduce yourself as well, sir.
Thank you. So, yeah, my name's Tom Oldroyd. I'm the sales director and strategy director for Semantic 21. Background in law enforcement. So I was a police sergeant for 17 years, ran a high-tech crime here in the UK. So anything with a battery or a cable connected to it, my team that dealt with it. Got itchy feet after a few years and decided to go and work for Black Bag Technologies because I'm a big Apple fan. And then from there, obviously, they were acquired by Cellbrite. So I worked for Cellbrite for a couple of years. But I've always liked the mission of what Semantics 21 stand for. So I've known Liam for quite a few years, and it is an evolution from previous categorization tools that were on the market to new technology. And obviously, using their brain power, we're now creating tools and looking at where the gaps in the market are. It's my sort of responsibility as the sort of the cop head, cop investigator background to say, right, this is what I think is missing. These are the gaps we need to plug. So that's what we're trying to bring the two industries together, sort of investigators, cops, military backgrounds, geeks, and then create stuff that everyone wants to benefit from. And then keep the prices down. Big thing for us. Obviously, budgets are being sort of tightened globally, and we need to make sure that the tools and capabilities are accessible to everyone. So that's our objective.
Excellent. And that's now, you guys approached me to come back on the show to talk about, and in my opinion, one of the most important things. This was probably 95% of my caseload when I was doing investigations, were CSAM type investigations. And can you talk to us a little bit about, and I'm not sure, Liam, maybe you can take this one, the global database that you're referring to.
Yeah, of course. So, I think everyone's jumped on this bandwagon of AI is going to solve everything. And as a doctor, I hope I have a right to say I just don't think it will. I think AI will help filter things, and AI will help speed up and make processes more efficiently once it gets there. But I think we're rushing it a little bit. And I think really one of the best sources of intelligence is still what we call traditional hash databases, but maybe elevated with what I'd take from being a hash database to an intelligence database. So we've seen some great examples in, if we go past the last 10 years of hash databases where we collate MD5 hashes or some kind of unique identifier, whether it's MD5 or SHA-1 or protodNAs, etc. But there's loads of complexities around that in terms of, the usefulness of just having just a hash. Also, the collation of the hashes, the conflicts resolutions. Do you just override someone else's hashes? How do you manage the inaccuracies of it? How do you grow it? How do you, really get the most from that data? Because just a simple hash isn't enough. And there's been great things in historically in forensics. And really, we were approached a few years ago by a couple of governments, a huge amount of police forces that were frustrated with the lack of anything other than simple hash databases, and which had those problems that I just talked about. And they asked us to create what would be the first global international database, a database that should learn from. I love the phrase to stand on the shoulders of giants, to learn from all the fantastic things that people have done before. So we're not knocking over the hash database, but to say, right, what did they do well? What did they do badly? And how do we make something that's better? And that's where the S21 Global Alliance database was born. The aim of the Global Alliance database is to create a truly, boundless international database that's an intelligence database, not a hash database, where forces can join for free. And the only thing we ask is that they commit back. Now, we're not asking for imaging and videos, we're asking for hash intelligence. And when I say hash, it could be hashes. They might want to provide, for instance, other information like a flag or something that's relevant to help another investigator find that victim faster. So It could be a victim in another side of the world, but they can say, "Hey, we had this in our case. If you want to reach out to me, or something like that." It's a truly intelligent system. But again, we had to deal with a number of things, and I realize I'm speaking a lot. But we had to deal with a number of challenges there. So, if we look at first of all, we talk about accuracy and inaccuracies. How do we create something that can, as it grows, actually self-cleanse itself? So that's where the whole, the geeks here in the basements and everything else, as Tom would always refer to. That's where we put our heads together. We looked at what's out there, and we said, how do we make a first self-cleansing intelligent database system? So we cracked that. Then how do we counteract, or how do we work with the fact that every country has their own grading scale? So we've got people across the world. I can see in the chats and that here. We've got absolutely, you're around the world. Australia joined us before. Again, thanks for joining. Every one of us has our own. So our team had to work out, how do we make a system that can account for every individual country's categorization? And then I guess last but not least, and this was one, so there's many other bits, but we also then had to look at the security. We had to look at the data protection. The UK has one of the best data protections in the world. So how do we make sure we don't just meet the criteria, but we exceed the criteria of what is secure, what is protected, what is private? And we've managed to do that. But I think one thing that shocked us, and again, I'll hand over to Tom or anything, but if we look at the biggest databases in the world, and there are some great ones, I won't name them, but they are great. And I'm saying I'm a massive supporter. This works with not a replacement. It is a collaborative database where we work together. Together is better. I think that's absolutely key for us. The biggest databases now around the world are somewhere about 80 to 120 million hashes. And that's huge. That's fantastic. We didn't expect to be sitting here less than 2 years in with just over 2.5 billion records. That's just unbelievable. So we've engineered brand new technology that can take 2.5 billion records, allow any force to connect to it in less than 1 second without pre-processing, and then able to compare their case at millions of files per minute. So, yeah, that's all. That's where really it stands out. But I think the big thing is the more people that join, the better. But also, I think that's really key to our own start before we start talking. This isn't a replacement. More is better. Work with everyone. We're not here to replace. We're not here to criticize. More is better. And I think that's what I really want to start this conversation with by saying. So that's the SRM Global Alliance database.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. You guys have done a lot of work on this. So I put that QR code up there, and I can bring it back up. I fear right now it will cover Tom if I did it right now at the moment. As you can see, again, it's going to take me a little bit to get used to this new software because I'm used to being able to preset scenes before I actually switch it. Here, as soon as I touch it, man, it's jumping all around. I'm like, I got to slow down. People are going to get what they call that, tennis neck from doing the tennis matches back and forth as I move you guys around the screen too much. I'll pop it back up here real quick. Apologies in advance, Tom. You can kind of just peek peek over. Hold on, there's got to be a solution to this. There it is. Yeah. So that doesn't do a whole heck of a lot. There we go. There we can kind of see all of us there with that popped up there. So yeah, if you guys just scan the QR code, you'll be able to learn more about the database pieces like that. So Liam, I have another question for you specifically because Master Chief is over your shoulder there, and I'm gonna ruin his day even more so. Paramount Plus announced today that they're not continuing the Halo series. I'm a little upset about this, and I know you are too.
Yeah.
That's his results.
You're gonna have to watch a proper program.
Yeah.
Can we get a minute's silence or something? I don't know. Yeah.
What was the reason? Why have they actually said they pulled it? Have they declared why?
I think the technical term is they ballsed it up so much on season 1 that season 2, although it was standout, I think just left a bad taste. So I'm gutted because they set it up well. But they
Yeah.
are here, Kevin. Because it upset me this morning. I hear they are trying to now sell it to someone else. I mean, I'll definitely inquire. But they're going to try and sell it to someone. I've got the helmet. I'm halfway here.
Yeah, that's right.
I could do great as Master Chief. I mean, okay, few extra pounds, but
Got AI.
well, that's it. I mean, look at the Mandalorian. Yeah, they had him for what, 3 episodes of his helmet off, and now it's not even him. So, yeah, and I was gutted to hear that's gone.
Yeah, it was a little sad. Megan tells me let me pop chat back up while we're having this discussion here. And Megan tells me that well, where is my chat?
Yeah, Christopher Nolan might be buying.
It's kind of cut off on the bottom down there. Oh no, it's up top. It's backwards. Holy moly! From what you guys can see it on your screen, along the right-hand column on the video screen, it's like top to bottom, and then the other one's bottom to top. You see that?
This is a great idea. Halo produced by S21. I mean, I will throw my hat or my helmet in the ring for Master Chief, definitely. If not, if anyone knows it, the little Covenant grunts, I'm quite good at that as well.
Perfect, absolutely perfect. Yeah, Megan was telling me that it did sell actually, or you said they look. I think so. Megan, do you have that information? I am like putting you on the spot suddenly, and I know there's a delay there. I thought she was telling me this morning because we ranted about it in our morning meeting a little bit more of the fact that I ranted about it because there's not very many shows that I like on television. And now my Star Wars.
Megan does say in the chat, she says that the thing that Christopher Nolan's looking to acquire Halo rights. That could be a good call.
Oh, yeah.
J.J. Abrams. He did marvelous with the new Star Trek. Yeah, J.J. Abrams would be something special.
Yeah, that would be pretty phenomenal. They're already familiar with the Paramount brand, so yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's not near finalized. Oh, that's too bad. So hopefully, we'll get that all sorted at some point. Yeah, excellent. Oh man. So guys, tell me a little bit about the database and myself as, when I was back in the lab doing these types of investigations, and Tom, maybe I can direct this one at you, is how can the average investigator benefit from having access to a database like this? Got to put it in context for somebody maybe who's not familiar.
Yeah, so the idea is, as we said, what Liam said, AI is brilliant. We know AI is going to improve and it's going to get better over time. But when we look at CSAM investigations, your primary objective is to load in all the media as quickly as possible and then find the low-hanging fruit. So the files that have been previously seen before by other investigators, whether that be in your organization, within your state, obviously with the Global Alliance database, it's now global. So the idea being we all do the same job. So we add the media, we categorize the level of indecency or whether or not the file is legally held, therefore safe to possess. And obviously you're applying those tags. Now, obviously, everyone across the world applies a different level of tag. What happens is if you have a normal database from the historic databases, they don't really ever get shared outside of your jurisdiction or outside of your state or your country. They're normally country-based. But because this is such a big scale problem with CSAM, we need more and more people to actually be working together. Therefore, your databases get bigger. So when we have media that's being circulated so quickly online, and now that offenders can be in chat rooms together, and they don't have a border, they don't care who they're talking to or where they're based. The idea is if an investigator has previously seen a file that they've flagged as being illegal, when you're adding 5, 6, 7, 8 million files to your investigation, you're very quickly comparing that to our database. And that's saying, hey, all these files here we've seen before, these are legally held. And all these files here, within seconds, these are indecent. And somewhere in the world, they've been classified as indecent. We can show you who graded them, when they graded them, whether or not they're first generation, whether or not they believe there's AI involved, that could be AI generated material. If they have the notes and the descriptions, so one of the horrible jobs especially when you look at CSAM, we have to describe what the content of the picture or the video file is. If that person's prepared to share those notes and it's optional, then they again go into the database. So not only can we now flag and say, here's all your CSAM, and that's now a really good starting point to say, somewhere on the drive or the phone, this is where we found a CSAM image. Chances are we're going to find the rest of the images in the same location. But it means that we can actually tie together that these groups may be sharing together, and it may open up new lines of inquiry. So it's a really, really clever way of pretty much instantly, within a few seconds, of finding previously seen CSAM material that somebody somewhere in the world has flagged. And that's the sort of the benefit that the sex offences market benefits from for investigators, that we can benefit from. So we can reduce that stress of having to look through the millions of files. Now, when we kind of had these ideas and we said, look, we want to go global, it got the attention of other agencies, because they were saying, look, we were involved in some projects, some reviews of previous terrorism attacks, so some big ones across the UK and America. Missed opportunities were that domestic police agencies and other counter-terrorism departments had been flagging and seeing material that was suspicious and they believed was hostile reconnaissance. Now, they kept it within their departments and never really shared it with anyone. Now, a bit of a flaw in that system. The chances are the people that are going to find those files again are going to be domestic frontline investigators, that they need to know, hey, you've just come across something that could be hostile reconnaissance, photographs of a plane taking off, or of a stadium, and someone's taking lots of pictures of police officers and military establishments. So when you flag material that's now also potentially counter-terrorism, or you believe is suspicious, that can now be securely also shared within that database, that if somebody, a border force agent, downloads a phone or a computer, they can compare to the database and it would flag to say, hey, this agency over here, somewhere else in the world, they believe those pictures are suspicious. And your spider sensors should then be going to say, okay, well, why did you find it suspicious? Let's reach out to them very quickly. And you could come across a terrorism cell. So there was a missed opportunity from probably one of the world's biggest terrorism attacks, that the UK had hostile reconnaissance material. We were aware of it. We know it was suspicious. Sadly, another agency abroad also saw the same material. They didn't realise the two agencies were dealing with a terrorism cell, and they never put two and two together. And it's because there was never a system that was a truly global, secure mechanism of sharing that intelligence. And that, again, is why the Global Alliance Database, it is the most secure intelligence system for media review. It's had to have lots of checks and balances. So it's sort of very early days for us. This is still really what we would call stage one of the phase out, the rollout. It's an amazing product. So not only for sex offences to help you identify material quickly and get rid of everything that's legally held, but also anything else that can be flagged through counterterrorism networks, so that we can flag and identify material of interest. So yeah, it crosses lots of borders.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. And as an investigator, say I come across some images, or I want the system to check for images, how can you kind of walk me through how that works? How do we submit? How do we get responses back? Do we have to? I guess just walk me through how that functions.
So day one, to gain access, currently you will have to use S21 software. So we would recommend that you'll use either our triage tool or our categorization solution. Oh, we're going to get the Apple.
Yeah, it's all Apple. Oh, there you go. So we can just get the rock and roll as well. So, my favorite.
They are cool. So yeah, so all you would do is you would use our software. Ultimately, you would add all your media in, and you would start to have your local database. So as you're grading and you're adding all your notes and tags to your local database, which is easy to set up, you would then say, okay, we want to join the Global Alliance. You would register online. Your registration is just verified to, we have then approval to let you have access to the database, but you have to share your contributions with us to gain access. That's part of the terms and conditions. So once you've then sent your data to us, and the moment you say, I want to join, and you create your first export, you choose what you're prepared to share. Now, we don't need any of the media at all, the intelligence we're after. But the moment you say export, it then creates an encrypted payload. So the encrypted payload, you would then have an upload link that we provide you that's unique to your organization. You would then provide that online. So again, this is a totally offline style system when it's operating. The only time you need the internet is to send us the package first. We then merge that with everyone else's packages. That then gets released, and at the moment it's on a quarterly basis. And then we release the master file. That master file is then provided to you. You download that master file, you place that onto your network. On our software, you point to that master file, and then instantly you would have access to 2.5 billion global records that you can then start comparing against. So it's painless. It should be really easy. We're gone are the days of having to parse JSON files or XML files. This thing is instant, but it's fully encrypted. And after 3 months, what you'll find is the encrypted file self-destructs, a bit like Mission Impossible. Again, extra steps we had to go through to satisfy various organizations and agencies across the world that this thing is pretty bulletproof, because of the sensitive nature of some of the content inside the database. And that's the workflow. And then you just keep doing that every 3 months. You upload your package, and then you download the master file, and you point to the master file. So as easy as possible.
Yeah, no, that sounds really easy. Actually, I love the fact that it's offline and doesn't require you to be online here. Justin has a good point here. Let me see if I can. I'm supposed to be able to bring chat up individually too. So let's see if this. Hey, looky there, it does. It just slices poor Tom's head off. You're gonna get the brunt of this today.
Yeah. Yeah. So Justin's question. Yeah, Justin, you're right. So to gain access, you have to share. So we've had this with various different agencies, and it's normally the big 3-letter agencies that always want to be a bit like Gollum, and everything's precious and it's always mine. This thing only works if people are prepared to share, and we can only allow you access if you are prepared to share your content with us. So as long as we get hashes, the point that you create the export, you have to agree to the terms and conditions. The terms and conditions then apply that the data can be shared with us. So we go through a very similar way and security system like Facebook, which is why they've gone end-to-end encrypted. It just means that everything is fully encrypted. We can't see the content of the data. So we always get asked how many hashes are in there or what the type of hashes. We don't know. But yeah, you have to contribute to be then gain access to everyone else's. And we can obviously only share it with countries that are trusted. So there's obviously certain countries won't ever have access to this.
No, that's very cool. I like it, Justin. I hope that answers your question. That you may have had. Also, if you guys do have a question, feel free to put it into chat. There's no guarantee that I'll figure out how to actually post it on the screen, but we'll get to your question. I promise. We can all see the chats, which is kind of nice that both Liam and Tom can see it on this system. A little bit different from the last one with that. So what else is going on at Semantics 21? What's new in your day-to-day life? Now, I know both of you have been traveling quite a bit, and you're suffering from heat waves. What else is going on?
Yeah, it's a good time for me to say apologies for the Hasselhoff look. It is just red hot in this office. I mean, it's like a poor man's Baywatch. I get that. I apologize for everyone that's listening and watching. I won't describe it for those listening, but you don't see it. Yeah, it's a busy time. It's a really busy time. There's so much. Obviously we've had the new release of 2.5. The GAD just keeps every quarter growing exponentially. We're growing at like 300 million records per quarter. That's all police records. There's no other type of records than just literally this police intelligence database that's coming through. That's busy. Next month we have a brand new product launching with CCTV and a brand new automation product as well. Yeah, it's a busy time. Tom's definitely busy. The geeks here are definitely busy. Working hard.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome for sure. I don't want to talk too much about the other things you guys have going on, because I know we have you on next month as well to kind of talk about that. So I don't want to give away that podcast. But if you guys do have a question there in the audience, let me double check this here. There we go. You guys can ask, because we can actually bring the live chat right up on the screen. And with that, in hindsight, I'm thinking maybe that's not such a great idea to have live chat broadcasting out across all the networks. I think the two people I would worry about most are actually in here as guests, so I will be safe. I think for this one, we should be. So no, that's a very good. So, Justin did respond. Says for sure, it's a great method. Tom,
Yeah,
to answer your question.
I think that's important as well. I think it almost levels the playing field for smaller units, and I think that's really important. We work with a lot of units where they only have one or two people in the unit as well, and I think even to say, oh, we've only got like a small amount of data, that doesn't matter, because even if you contribute a small amount, what you've got, you're still getting access to the full amount. And who's to say that the small amount of data that you have in your unit doesn't lead to finding a victim or a suspect or stopping a terrorist attack? Because just that small, even just one record could make the difference between another investigator putting the jigsaw together and saving a life. So it's really neutral in that respect, and that's really a key thing that we try to do. That's why it's free to law enforcement. That's the key. It's free to everyone. But in terms of, we've got a 3 phase of what we want to try and do for the rollout. The first phase, obviously, with law enforcement, then we know that there are other third parties, for instance, other third party tools in forensics that would benefit. It's trying to be inclusive, but it's a step by step rollout.
I think that's key to say. I think when we kind of designed this idea, and obviously other people started using it, and law enforcement started to use it, rightfully so, they were questioning, saying, hold on, is this a bit of a cash cow for you guys? We're doing all the work and all the grading. Are you guys benefiting from selling this? Is this just you profiteering? Definitely not. The whole thing is 100% free for law enforcement. We also, Liam said, there's a 3-stage approach, which is kind of what I have to manage. Stage 1 is we needed to make sure this thing worked, and we needed to get law enforcement on board. We need to make sure the cross borders thing works. The back end is sponsored by Microsoft. Microsoft, please don't go down again. So we needed to make sure everything worked as we expect and as we designed it. There was learning. We realized that some humans are stupid, and we make mistakes. And definitely when you're dealing with media and high levels of media, people can grade wrong. So we realized very quickly we can't just rely on one grade. So we now have 6-eye verification. So you could say, I only want to see results where 6 independent organizations have actually said the same grading level. So if they say it's legally held, 6 agencies have to say it's legally held before I actually see the results of the data. So we've cleaned that up. We've made that far better. In the UK, ours used to be 3-eye verified. We've now dropped it down to 2 for the national database to grow the numbers. We've gone 6, so it's just variable. You can change it yourself. We then realized that when humans make errors, we have AI in our product. So why can't we get the AI to actually just check? So although the database is always going to be the quickest way, AI, just go and check the results. Because if the database says, yeah, it's legally held, the AI will actually still be checking and saying, hey, guess what? I think you've made a mistake. Somebody in the database has said legally held. I'm thinking that is actually CSAM. So can you actually just double check for me? So we now even build in safety measures into the database. So phase 1 was a lot of learning to find out where all these issues occurred. Phase 2 is, as we've said before, this is a global problem, and we can't keep bashing Facebook or Mega or anyone else. They've created platforms for their jobs. We need to work with them. And we need to say to them, look, here's all the CSAM that, and revenge pornography. You can tag revenge pornography in this system as well. We need to say to those tech firms, get that material offline as quickly as you can. Stop it being circulated. Let's try and cut it off at the source when it's online. But this is a contribution-led system. So Facebook, you want access to data, we need your data. And you're not providing it to law enforcement. You're providing it to us as a private company. So we don't have to go through MLAT and all the other processes law enforcement would, because we have the right to share the intelligence as organizations with each other for the protection of their systems, but also that then benefits law enforcement. So we're now opening up that dialogue which is phase 2 of the big tech companies. We've got about 70 that we're currently in talks with to gain their data back into this system. So eventually we're hoping you'll be able to say, here's all these files in my investigation, and we'll be able to tell you which platform it's been seen on and when it was seen on their platform. So quite, again, a huge step forward in what we've previously had. And then finally, the third stage is this is not our data. We're the controllers of it, and we don't want it to be limited to our tools. So people would say our closest competitor is Griffon. We will offer magnet access to this database. We will offer it to all of them. We're already talks with Belkasoft and Xero, who are doing some early testing for us. And we're going to say, look, this is compatible with all tools going forward. It has to be. Again, just a sign of this is not us profiteering. They will not, Magnet and Cellbrite will not be expected to pay for it. It's entirely up to them if they want to connect to it. We can't force them. But it means you could theoretically download a phone with Cellbrite with PA. It could compare to the database and flag anything that's illegal or legally held within their product. So even if they're not using our tools, it would still work through the database. So again, we want to make sure that we can get this thing to grow as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I love the model that you guys kind of laid out. It makes sense, and I think there's no reason really for everyone not to kind of join in and play together, especially just sharing data, giving free access. Man, it's just going to make the world a much better place, and identification so much faster. Holy cow! You guys can build data sets large and quick.
Yeah, and I think we put a comment on LinkedIn that seems to have got quite a lot of interest. Obviously, the Americans you've had the incidents this week with Trump being shot at, and the breaking into the phone. Cellbrite, brilliant. That's exactly what they're for. To gain access to these devices, and it's a sensible company providing sensible law enforcement. But it's the data now that's on that device for us is interesting because we're going to look at his browser history. You're going to look at the contacts and everything else. But what about the media? What media is on that device that potentially has been seen across the world that may be suspicious, that could be on somebody else's device, that somebody in Australia may be conducting an investigation into some terrorism cell or some extremist cell? And it's the same media on their devices that they've found suspicious. It could be on the suspect's phone there. And again, you need to be able to bridge and work out where this material's come from, who else is accessing it, because again, like-minded people are going to be talking to each other, and that's the whole idea of this database. Although yes, the idea of it coming from sex offences was really its birthplace, the fact is that this can be border force, drugs offences, terrorism offences. So it really is an immense amount of data that, like you say, everyone really should be getting on board. And don't just think that it is just an S121 product. It isn't. We've got to make it compatible with everything.
Yeah, no, that's actually really important because everyone, all the different platforms do stuff so different from the next, and I would think connectivity would be a massive challenge. How are you working that with each of the providers out there? Are they building their own basically APIs back in and out of the system to talk to yours? Is that how that's going to work?
Yeah, so in terms of tech firms, the only real cost is to work with them and to either help them build in the API connections, because even if we look at someone like Meta, they have so many different platforms because they own so many different parts of the industry now. It isn't just one big platform for Meta. Everything's different. So we need to customize the way in which anyone can talk into the database. So that takes engineering work on our behalf, which they technically subsidize. So they don't pay for the data. There is a cost involved for us to engineer into the API system what it is they actually require, and that's really it. So there is no sort of standard because tech firms don't have standards like we all would like them to have. They're all
Right.
using different platforms, and but we're getting there.
And that's like, say, they do their own engineer, and then that's what it takes the engineer away from us. There's no cost. And I think that the important bit there, and I think I always try and explain when I'm talking with law enforcement, that doesn't give tech firms access to all the law enforcement data. I think that's really, really key here. What they'll get is the notable, non-notable style system. They'll get someone's uploading these 10 these 10 files. Have they been seen before? No, they're non-notable. Then no problems, or they're not being seen, or actually this has been notable, so they can either block it from being uploaded to their platform and potentially pass stuff on to NIPMEC or something like that, or one of the other agencies we work with, Arachnid, wonderful shout out to Project Arachnid as well. So they don't get access to the law enforcement side of the system. They just get almost a breathalyzer for what's going up. It's a breathalyzer for CSAM content or for notable content. And it's an intelligence database that can say, we've seen it before, it's been notable by someone around the world, or it's been seen before, it's not notable, it's just usual spam kind of thing, or we aren't sure what it is. So then their moderators, etc., can spend the time looking and reviewing those things. I think that's really key as well. It's not going to affect investigations. There is going to be, we've had to put extra safeguards in now. We've built and agreed with our organisations that they get the data a little bit slower than law enforcement, so we don't affect any kind of active case or anything like that. So we took all this. The methods we took are unbelievable to satisfy everyone's requirements, and any new requirements that come out of the woodwork, we'll beat those as well.
Yeah, I would have considered that. That's smart on your part. Of course, that's why you've done it and not me. Is that delay of active cases? I would not even have thought of that. And before something's flagged or make this notable, that's interesting design on that too. Holy cow! I would say I'm curious to ask our audience too. Is if they're using any type of database in their investigations. As we're talking, if you get a chance, just kind of pop up yes, no into the chat if you are. Be curious. And why wouldn't you connect to this? I don't see any cons at all to doing this. How long does it take normally for once an application goes to push through?
Minutes. It literally is. You can apply for access to it as long as your country is on the nice list. We then give you access to the database to do your uploads. The upload, then we verify, and once we're verified, then you get put on the nice list that you then can download the file. And it's all audited and all fully tracked, so it has to be justifiable who has what, including obviously, like I say, the kill switch. A maximum amount of time you've got it is 3 months, and then the database dies. Like Liam says, there's the safety measures we had to jump through to satisfy the key government agencies. Was immense. Because again, it is sensitive data, and we needed to behave ourselves and make sure that this thing was future proof. And that's why we've now built in tags for AI generated material. So if an investigator finds AI content, then they can tag that. And they might be lucky to have the EXIF data. But in the future, an investigator doesn't have the EXIF data that would indicate it's AI generated. So they can actually look in the database and say an investigator in Vancouver, for instance, has tagged these as all as CSAM AI generated. An investigator in Germany may not have that EXIF data, therefore they benefit from the database. And again, the takedown notices we've included revenge pornography, because we know the number of suicides that are related to revenge pornography are quite high. So even if normally it's the male that's been the idiot and circulated the picture of his girlfriend, if they're over a certain age group, the AIs won't detect it. So the social media companies won't take that content offline because it doesn't hit indecent levels of being a child. But if a report is made to law enforcement, say it is revenge pornography, the right thing is that those photographs and videos are taken offline as quickly as possible. And we could just say to law enforcement, just tag them. That's what we need to do. Just tag them as revenge pornography. As they go through the wash of the database, we then let the tech firms know they take it offline as soon as they can. So again, we want to try and make sure the internet's cleansed as quickly as possible.
Yeah, no kidding. And so I guess, I'm curious. I have a lot of questions here. And I know when I prepped to kind of show the back end of the tool at all, but I take it there's the standard classifications of images. If you could give some examples of what some of those are.
Yeah, it depends really, because it works based on each country's severity rating. So if we look at Australia, that's completely different from the UK, different from America and Canada. So we account for every different categorization system across the world. What then happens is, if a UK investigator flags something as being CSAM or indicative of CSAM, or we call it Cat A, B, and C. I won't go into what they are. I think UK investigators online will know what they are. We have a 9-scale system. We put those in, and then if a Canadian investigator sees those, what they'll see in their filters, they'll see the UK have said it's A, and it gives a description of what an A is in the UK, so they understand what's happening in that image. So they can say, yeah, in Canada, they're simply a Cat 1. It's a CSAM, whether it's an A, B, or C, it's simply a Cat 1. A much more simpler level system of 0, 1, 2, 3 over in Canada, and it's quite nice. But then Australia, there are some forces that work with 10 plus different levels, almost 20 different scales.
Really?
Yeah. So the system actually takes into account their own categorization scale and then represents that to the user that finds it. It's clever in that respect. It really is clever. I think that again, for me, I'm hugely passionate about bid. That's why I started the company. That's why we keep pushing as a company. We're all passionate about finding victims, not always about saving money. For us, it's about finding the kids. It's about finding the victims and rescuing the victims. It's a win-win. Management can say we can get more cases through quicker, and many of our forces represent or passing back between 50 and 70%, I believe, is the new one, of pre-categorization or a faster case through. That means we can double plus, the amount of cases through a force, which I think is tremendous. Again, it's still the heroes at the end of the keyboard doing the work. I've got to pass that back. We're just literally a tool. We call that many times, but we are literally just the tool that helps them. It's still the heroes at the end doing it. But for investigators as well, it means that time can be invested in more victim ID and finding more victims. So under the increased amount of pressure they're under to get cases through, they can say, right, we've got more cases done, but I've still been able to invest more in spending that extra bit of time that's meant the difference between finding a victim. And for me, that's everything the database about. And that's why people say it's free, and we still struggle with this. How is it free? Because we've absorbed the cost. We've took the cost on. It's been expensive to the company, but I don't regret a penny of it. And if it was twice, triple the price, we'd still be doing it. It's right to do. It's about saving kids. It's about saving victims. It's about stopping the next terrorist attack.
That's pretty amazing. And that's the fact that you're giving that away. I'd be curious to have you guys back on and talk a little bit after phase 2. Hopefully the social networks will cooperate. And maybe if we all put a little bit of peer pressure on them and get everybody to push out onto their own social networks to, hey, do this, like sign this petition or whatever. I don't know what we could possibly do to convince them to do that. But yeah, it's definitely a phenomenal tool to help investigators out, and really ultimately, as you had mentioned, and the reason for your company is just identify and save more victims from some of this stuff that's out there. I will never ever understand it. I never understand that mindset of that particular type of person, and I don't ever want to. I just think they're sick. Try not to swear to get myself banned off of YouTube, but they're sick. So kudos to you guys for doing what you're doing and keeping up the fight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate it. I think we've got to push that back. It's the people who are doing the job. It's really important. We were out with a great team earlier on today. We won't name them, but another fantastic team here in the UK. It's the people who are there doing the job. We've got to give it back to them. We're just there to help them. We're there to support them. That's everything we're going to keep doing, and we'll always keep doing.
Yeah, no, excellent. So Momo says, number one, Momo, how you ever got backstage, I have no idea. Yes, Momo's the one that had exclusive access to us in the green room. I don't know how that Momo did it, but kudos to the categorization, Momo says. So
Thank you.
I can't tell if Momo's anyway. Momo, I was going to say he, she, but I just can't. It's a cat. Momo's a cat. So there we go. There's a trained cat on the keyboard. So
just how easy the software is. Brilliant.
Yeah. So again, I appreciate you guys coming on the show as always, because I know it's late there. What time is it there? It's at least
8 o'clock.
8?
8
oh
o'clock
my goodness. On a Friday night. So I've seen Liam's. I've seen Liam's. Tom. All right,
well,
excellent.
So I'm banned from beer because holiday season's coming up. So my wife says lose a bit of weight. So I'm now allowed rum and coke.
That's fine. That's fine.
Healthy, apparently.
Sure, we can call anything that's healthy. See, I just choose to drink from a plain one. My expensive Captain America glass, the rings fell out of it. This came right from Disney. The colored red and white rings just fell off one day. I was like, oh, that's excellent. But it still holds my drinks very well. So again, guys, thanks very much. I'm going to open it up to any other questions? Oh, Momo says, hang on, see, I'm going to go back to this. Momo says he didn't see us, or they didn't see us. But how are you talking to us? That's so strange to me. I guess you were just using the chat talk. I don't know. That was awesome. It was so weird. Anyway, oh wait. So DFIR Dan has one here. It says, never heard of the database. Thank you. Oh, there we go. Someone's requested access. This could be an extremely helpful resource. I believe personally it's going to be huge. Going to be huge for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, if you are using it, we hate to ask for anything. If you can just let people know, because there are other courses that, like I say, we don't spend stupid amounts on marketing. We love an opportunity like speaking to yourselves and the team. It's just letting people know by word of mouth. We put all the money back into developing the tool and to be able to create innovations like the GAD. So we just ask if you can share something, if you can share one of our social posts, if you can just share out the database and let people know it's free. We're not asking for money from them. It would make a huge difference, hopefully, to our investigations, but also to us, so we can keep giving these free innovations out and keep helping.
I think one thing to make sure people are aware of, because obviously I know DFIR Dan's requesting access, is the database is currently compatible with our tools. So you have to be using the Semantic 21 tools within phase 1. So phase 1, phase 2, obviously tech firms. Phase 3, that's where we'll open up access to those third parties. If you don't have a categorization tool, we will help you out. If you're a HSI hero, then the heroes don't pay for our software. We have obviously a law enforcement military background, so we think that's an awesome way of getting people that are ex-vets back into law enforcement. So we've always had a commitment to law enforcement that heroes don't pay. So if there are any HSI heroes listening to this, you get the access to the software, just contribute your database back, and then you have the database as well for free. So literally you've got an entire free forensics capability. But if you're not currently a customer for Semantic 21 and you are using another tool, you will probably find you'll save money by utilizing LaserIX, which is our victim ID and categorization tool, and then it obviously is 100% compatible with the database from day one. So just make sure people who are listening want access to the database. It's not a text database. You can't see inside of it. It's encrypted. The only software that can read the encryption is our own product at the moment. But yeah, DFI Dan will reach out to you and let you know.
But do poke your current tool and just get your current tools to reach out to us. We are asking and trying to get the third party tools on board, but just ask them. They're really responsive, but a lot of tools have said, there's a few tools anyway. There's many just said yeah straight away, absolutely. There's a few that said let's wait for the customers to ask us. So just go to your account manager and just say, hey, we'd like you to work with these guys so that we can access that, because there are a couple maybe mentioned today where it's like we want to hear enough of our customers say they want it before they're going to spend the time to integrate the free system. So yeah.
No, that's great. And Dan says, yeah, gotcha. Sounds great. I think that's a good email we can send out to our email list just to give everyone a. Justin says, "I'll poke the product guys to hurry up over at Xtero." Yeah. Hey, Justin, real quick. Also, my wife stole that awesome long sleeve X-shirt you gave me, so I had to steal it back today. So it's an ongoing fight in the household. Literally, I don't know where it's at, but she's stolen it back. I had it hidden here in my office, and I'm looking over. It's not there anymore. So she's stolen it back. So I may have to steal another shirt from you from that. It's an ongoing thing with my wife.
Just you'll have like a carload of them. It's like whenever you got swag from a company, you always had I've got thousands of Macquisitions, the old black bag Macquisitions that everyone keep going to go, where'd you get them from? Let's use them like USB sticks. It's like they're going away. We were going to get rid of them, so I just use them. T-shirts, things like that. We all end up with pens, millions of pens. Yeah.
Oh yeah, pens. I have something for you too. When I actually see you in person at some point too. Now you've officially been on the show. I stopped giving these out for a while because they ran out of stock, but now they're back in. It's a little different than this one. There's an actual additional logos on here. But these little guys right here, have you seen these?
Yeah, they look awesome.
You mentioned on your last show the cartridge of the
Yeah.
The Warthog, aren't they?
Yeah, the Warthog. So I have to get these things to you next time I see you guys at a show, or I can just ship them over. But I'm a little worried about customs or immigration. It's like, why are he sending ammunition parts overseas? I'm like, no reason at all.
Get me an extra one next time I see the king himself. I'll ping one out and see if he wants one.
There you go. Or you can just put a word in to say, hey, this is going to be coming through. Just make sure that slides right through for us.
That's it.
Liam name dropping again that he just meets.
Yeah, I know. Now
with you in the UK.
Now we have to go over, and you have to tell our listeners, why were you hanging out with the king? Were you guys having a bourbon and a beer, or what was happening there?
Well, we were drinking. Yeah, we were definitely drinking. Yeah, no, we talked about it just before. I don't know if people were on it, so I just following up on that. Yeah, no. So we won this year's King's Award as well, which is fantastic. Incredible honour. I had the pleasure of going and meeting His Royal Highness himself last week, having a drink with him, chat about the amazing work that we work with phenomenal investigators across the world and how amazing investigators are doing what they do. I think we both agreed the work the investigators are doing for child protection, for counter-terrorism, and to keep us safe is incredible. So I did, I name dropped to King Charles himself to say, it's not just us, it's the incredible people we work with. So, and he said himself how incredible people are. So,
so he met me, right? When I knew what he meant exactly now. So
yeah.
He mentioned the previous podcast. He said, say hi to Kevin. He says, I really enjoy this podcast. I listen every Friday.
That's it.
Yeah, sure.
Wins a captain. Yeah, good fun. Good fun. But yeah, I'll take one of those, see if I get past security with a Warthog shell.
You might. I'd rather you get the glove treatment, the latex glove and lube as you get back into your own country than our federal agents coming here and getting me. So.
I might be the first person to be beheaded in London and the Tower of London. So
yeah, they can revitalize the old block there. I've been there. I've seen it. So yeah.
Why not?
Awesome. Speaking of that, I don't have any swag from you guys yet either. So we'll have to do some trade.
We have some cool challenge coins.
No, really.
Literally with my hand. Yeah, I've been messing with it. It's a challenge.
Bring that closer. Bring that closer. Hold on. Let me see if I can make you maximize here on the screen. Oh, there we go. Woo, there we go. All the full Liam show. That's awesome. Look at that. Oh, I like it. That's a beer opener, isn't it?
It is a beer opener. You've got to. I
couldn't imagine anything else. Right. I couldn't imagine anything else. That's awesome.
So it's like the evolution of products. So yeah, we take any other ideas anyone else has had and make them better. So.
Oh, absolutely. Well, guys, thanks so much. I just looked at the clock and realized, where did the time go? We're 6 minutes after already before the show was supposed to be over.
Just one thing, Kevin, I don't know if you noticed it. Momo's put in a comment in the box just saying, how do they get access to the database? Just go onto the Semantics 21 website, navigate to the page that says database. I'm assuming Momo can't see what we're looking at. So I don't know if they're audio only, but just go to the Semantics 21 web page, contact us, and we'll reach out to you.
Yeah, there you go. And it's I don't know what the URL is there that I put in that QR code. I think it does take you to some rogue website just to kind of rickroll everyone. It's taking the Rick Ashley song is really what is happening. So that would be funny.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We could dress Tom up and go and do karaoke. That'd be brilliant.
Isn't there an Easter egg in our programs that does that?
Oh, look at that. Oh, now we have to find it. To find it. Well, excellent, guys. Thanks you very much. I tell you what, hang out. Don't go anywhere yet because I got to figure out, number one, how to stop the show. So I just realized, okay, there's an end stream button. Good, I can see that. I didn't practice that part. And then I'll chat with you after show as well. So again, thank you guys so much for coming on the show again. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks everyone for joining.